Hello, everyone. Well, I think there's just one person here. Let's see. Hello. You can chat in this little chat box here. Hopefully you can hear me. I am sorry I'm late getting started. I'm going to share my screen in just a second. Let's see if I have any questions. I couldn't get my... Hi, Sean. All right, let's see if we have any questions hanging out here. I don't see any. This is recording, so that is good. And then I'm going to share my screen. And hopefully you can see it. And so, sorry, I'm trying to adjust my, you can hear that. I'm trying to adjust my Britney Spears microphone from like 1992, and it is not working properly. And basically what I want to do for this Q&A is I want to see first if you have any questions. So if you have any questions, type them on in. Let me know if you have any questions. I have the little chat bar up. So if you have any questions, let me know. But what I want to do is let me know if you have any questions. And what I'm going to do first is see if you have any questions. Gosh, I'm just going over that. But I want to see, I want to go over these examples. So this is an example of the extended definition. And this is different because it doesn't go over the, if you go back, I'm going to go back here to the modules, and in the Project 2 slide shares where we go over the requirements for how to write the technical documentation, I'm going to go over quickly what we need to do. So I'm going to skip way over here to 29. It's a memo report. And in the memo report, you're going to have obviously this information, the to, from, date, subject. And you need to have headings, white space, that visual hierarchy, left justification, all that stuff. But in the body of your memo, you need the term name, the audience, and the need. So what is the term name, the word or the phrase that you chose? Who is the lay audience that you identified? Remember that it can't be students. It needs to be a lay audience. So in that bike example that we used in class, like, who is the lay audience that you are identifying? Who's it going to be? Is it going to be people who need to take a bike apart, like the lay audience at home that might need to tune up their bike, so they need to see these specs for specific reasons. They need to change out, I don't know, a pedal, that kind of thing. What need does this audience have that your slidecast will meet? And this is technical communication, so these should be short and sweet, and these can be bulleted lists. For option 1, the extended technical definition, state the rhetorical move you will use to extend or develop the definition beyond a sentence level. And for option 2, the technical description, state the rhetorical move or moves you will use to develop specifics and details beyond a sentence level. And the organizing pattern, state the name of the organizing pattern you will use to arrange the order of your slides. So you can find all that information back here. So step 3 for option 1, I'm going to move this over here. Plan how you will extend, develop the definition by choosing one or more of the following rhetorical moves. So if you're choosing a technical definition, by choosing one, classify X with more detail. Contrast X with something different, compare X to something similar, explain the causes and effects of X, provide some history behind X, explain the extent and severity of X, use a metaphor to explain what X is like, use an analogy to compare X to something familiar, and use an example of X. And you can find examples of all that up here. There's many examples of technical definitions up here. So you can find all those, and these are the rhetorical moves that I'm talking about, that you want to explain which rhetorical move you're going to be using, that you're going to want to be doing that in your memo. For option 3, for option 2, you want to plan to begin the technical description with a sentence level definition, and if needed, a brief overview, and then develop the description by choosing one or more of the following technical moves. Describe in detail the specific feature of X, or describe in detail the specific characteristics of X, or behaviors or specifics of what X is made of, what X does, the specifics of how X works. And this following moves may also be used, but be sure to keep them within the narrow focus of describing specifics in detail. Use a metaphor to explain what X is like, use an analogy to compare X to something familiar, and use an example of X. So that's what you're doing. And this is usually pretty short. This is, you're saying, this is what I'm going to be doing in this is the rhetorical move. So for my technical definition of this term, this is the rhetorical move I'm going to be using. Very often, nailing this down is the hardest part, but seeing some examples of it kind of helps. And then you're going to plan the number of slides and how you're going to arrange the order. And you have to do this because you have to preview that organizing pattern. That's the last thing that you have to do in the memo. So if we look, the final step in the body of your memo is state the name of the organizing pattern you're going to use to arrange the order of your slides. So when I go back here, there's common organizing patterns you can use to arrange your slides. You can organize them sequentially. You can organize them chronologically, parts to whole, compare contrast, cause effect, order of importance, general specific. So, and you need to include that in your technical documentation. And then you need to write a standard conclusion and the memo with a clear conclusion. A simple conclusion can be offering to answer any questions the audience may have, that kind of thing. So example A, it has the audience here, but let's go over here. The purpose of the memo is to inform how admixtures can be used in concrete to impart specific qualities to either fresh mix or hardened concrete. So this is an extended definition to solve problems for audiences. Admixtures are ingredients other than water, aggregates, and cement that are added to the concrete batch immediately before or during mixing. So the audience is structural engineers, communicate with various groups of people: clients, other structural engineers, construction workers, contractors, and general public home buyers. Particularly, I want to communicate with an entry-level structural engineer. So that's what we're going for here. The purpose: structural engineers should be aware of the alternatives to conventional concrete. Before using these alternatives to conventional concrete, the structural engineer needs to study these alternatives and their costs in detail. The following definition covers basic principles and applications of admixtures to promote successful concrete mix design. problems, and placement. So the placement is to be placed in a training brochure provided to the structural engineer upon acceptance of the position. And then he goes through and actually has a pretty strong definition here. It's a really long definition and a conclusion. So that is the definition. Here's an example of project 2 using a definition. As requested below is a planning information for technical definitions and description. My slide cast will be an extended technical edition of the term, the 10 essentials, which is hiking, to help new hikers decide what gear they should take with them and help experienced hikers to think about what they are already taking. The 10 essentials is a list developed by the mountaineers of systems every hiker should carry. After watching the slide cast, the audience should understand what the 10 essentials are. So this person goes over everything that they need here. Term and sentence level definition. The 10 essentials is a list of systems developed by the mountaineers that every hiker should carry so that they're prepared for an unexpected event or emergency. The audience. The audience is anyone who is new to hiking, parents of children in outdoor clubs, and experienced hikers who think they might be carrying more than they need. So a variety of audiences here, which is great. The audience needs to know what they should bring or send with their child in order to bring the 10 essentials and have a safe hike. Placement, the slide cast could be included as part of an information session, or a link to the slide cast could be emailed to parents. The written definition could be included in a child's packet with the permission slip and the packing list. Rhetorical moves. The definition gives the purpose of the 10 essentials and a brief history behind the term, the 10 essentials. It will extend the definition by giving more details about each of the 10 essentials by including examples and, where useful, contrast the essentials with what it is not. Organizing patterns. The slide cast follows the organizing pattern of general to specific and will consist of 13 slides, concluding a title slide and a bibliography slide. The second slide is a general overview of the 10 essentials, and each of the next 10 slides covers one of the 10 essentials. The content on each of the 10 slides is kept to a minimum so viewers don't feel the slides move too quickly. This is actually great because this is a preview of exactly what is going to happen over in this slide cast. And this is really wonderful. You need to know what you're going to be doing in the slide cast before you try and write this memo. Don't try and write this memo without looking at this slide share, because otherwise you can't do a good job. You really can't. Figure out what you're going to be doing in the slide share. It will make writing this memo really easy. The memo is short and sweet, but this organizing pattern and figuring out what you're putting in the slide cast is the crux of this memo. And figuring it out, you do all of the heavy lifting in the memo. Just figuring out how you're going to organize it is the work of this memo. So that's what you're going to do in here. And the conclusion, included as page 2, is the technical definition. For the slide cast, a greeting and a closing is added. I would be happy to answer any further questions you might have. This person actually did the technical definition of the term, the 10 essentials, as the second page of this memo. You don't have to. You don't actually need to do the technical definition for the part of the memo. The technical definition is meant to be as part of the slide share. You certainly can, because remember, the memo report is the heavy lifting. It's where you're kind of getting everything out and you're doing the planning. So this person did, the planning as part of this. It really helped this person to kind of parse it out and figure out, okay, how am I doing this? And how am I going to divide this out? And so that's fine. You can certainly include that if you want to, but It is essential in your memo to have everything that this person includes on the first page, especially if you're doing like a technical definition. So this is a really good example of a technical definition style memo. Um, and I mean, you need all this stuff too for a technical description. You're just going to have different content for the technical description part, but you still need the rhetorical moves. You still need the organizing pattern, the conclusion, the placement, the need, the audience. You're just going to have a technical description instead of a technical definition. Does that make sense for my one student who's in here? You can type it in or not, whatever. I hope it makes sense. And if you have any questions, let me know. But the purpose of this memo, sort of, okay. The purpose of this memo is to plan what you are doing in the SlideShare. So before you can really, get a hold of what you're doing in the memo, you need to read all about the SlideShare. What are you doing in the SlideShare? You need to figure out, okay, oh, I'm on the wrong thing. What am I doing in the SlideShare? And the SlideShare is a series of, you need to figure out your organizing pattern, and you need to figure out how many slides you're going to have, and you need to figure out that content. And the memo is you reporting on that, planning on that, and using all of the skills you've learned. So that's what you're doing in the memo. The memo and the slidecast go together. I'm sorry, not the SlideShare, the slidecast. The memo and the slidecast go together. The memo is the planning and reporting document, and the slidecast is you executing it. So what questions do you have? You can type it or you can say it. Or if you don't have any questions right now, you can just email them to me. Or if it helps, what I can do is I can open up in here. Let's see. I will put a project to questions. Ask them here. So let's see. I'm going to have to I'll try to keep up with this over the weekend. And I'll add this to the student to do for like Sunday night. Nope. So if you have any questions, you can post them here as you're working on this, and I will keep up with it. Make sure I'm subscribed to it so it'll notify me. And I'll post the Q&A that we just did in here. But if you have any questions, just let me know. And you can type them in here. And I hope that that is sort of helpful. But no questions? I can't think of one off the top of my head right now. I'm just really trying to figure out what I'm going to use as the subject of the slidecast. Any suggestions on how to figure that out? Well, the best thing that I can tell you is this. Were you in class on Wednesday, Sean? Yes, okay. The best thing I can tell you is to go to SlideShare 2, slide 12. And really think about these two questions. So when I have a student with the students often get stuck on this, and ponder these two questions on SlideCast 2, slide 12, and just think about a topic in either your field or a topic that interests you. And it can be something that you really care about, or in your field, or something that you just love to do. I had a student that's a DJ, and he really wanted to, help people focus on DJ stuff. So he focused his stuff on DJ. It had nothing to do with his field that he was going into. He just wanted to show people how to make beats. So he did that, and that was fine. He was doing a technical description of making beats. So if that was just one thing that he did, and it was kind of exciting. So think about stuff that really works for you, and go back to technical definitions and descriptions, and look at those things about what are they. Technical descriptions are descriptions of products, descriptions of mechanisms, process descriptions, so a different process, places or phenomena. And then go back to this second thing and be like, okay, is that what I want to do? Or go back to a technical definition. And do I need to define something a little bit more? What is it? What does it mean? What is X? Explain what X means within specific contexts. And really, these 4 slides will help you figure out if an extended technical definition will be right for you. And if you need help with this, just let me know. Write down the question. But really think about this. What audience need can be met by providing a wider focus, like more information beyond a sentence level definition, to help the audience gain a better understanding of something and or make a decision. Does someone need to make a decision, or do they need a better understanding of something? Like coronavirus, right? That's this thing going on in the world right now. If this is the need, choose option 1, the technical definition. What is coronavirus? So what audience need can be met by narrowing the focus to describe the specifics and details of what something is like and or how it works to help an audience better understand something and or make a decision. If this is the need, choose option 2, the technical description. It's up to you. You are the one that really needs to kind of choose this thing in which way you want to take it. So I will post some more examples of student samples from last quarter from different fields, different things, and see if that works, if that's helpful. And hopefully that will work. And let me know if you have any more questions. Okay? Oh, good. I'm glad that helped. Yeah, the extended technical definition is hard, but it's when someone needs more understanding of something just really complex, or they need help making a decision. And it's like, wait, what is that thing? I have no idea. I'm glad that helped. All right. I hope you have a good weekend. draft due on Monday of the memo. All right, have a good day.